Hey y'all, welcome to I got my heart broken, decided to make a podcast. Every time I say the title, it just makes me chuckle because that's literally what happened. I was in the car, got the idea. Today, we're kind of switching it up a little bit. Normally I discuss one topic and I stay on that one topic, but I don't know if you noticed. This episode is a bit longer. It's 30 minutes. So today we'll be discussing two topics. We'll be discussing vocabulary expansion and just getting advice in the wrong areas and the disappointment that that can lead to. So, hope you're doing well. I want to start with like vocabulary expansion. So, I'm one of those people. I still don't have no guests yet. I'm working on it though. Promise you I'm working on it. So, anyways, like I was saying, I'm one of those people that when people piss me off, when I'm arguing with somebody, I want you to feel dumb. And this is something that I am working on because I don't want to argue anymore. I would like to debate more often than argue, but I want to debate in an eloquent, elegant is the word, in an elegant manner. Um so when I argue with people that I think that in the past, when I've argued with people that I think aren't on the same intellectual level as me, I will start using big words to make you feel dumb. And yesterday, I was walking, not yesterday, the day before yesterday. Nah, that shit was yesterday. Like I said, I was right. So so yesterday, I'm walking back from the gym with my roommate. And me and a girl argue all the time. Like we bicker. And I'm not gonna say argue, we bicker a lot. And she says some like she just sounded very ignorant. I don't even remember what this because we bicker so much, bro. I can't tell you like the whole thing. But basically she said something. She was like, "Oh, look at you cursing. Like, who's really the dumb one because you can't express yourself without cursing?" And I was like, just because I'm choosing to use profanity doesn't mean that I lack knowledge and I understand what point you're trying to get at. But this was my mindset and this is really fucked up. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I was like, I'm not finna prove to a dummy that I'm actually smart, that I actually can just pull out big words. Because in this moment, you want me to pull out big words. That's what you want. You want me to just start saying a bunch of big words. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm actually gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna keep talking and I'm gonna keep speaking in this not so elegant manner. I'm gonna keep using profanity. I'm gonna keep just speaking in the way that I'm speaking because I'm eating you up in this way. And this is the way that I think you would understand me the most. Because if I start using big words and I start really getting into deeper concepts than what the fuck your mind can understand, I'm gonna already lose you. So I'm gonna keep talking in a dumb manner. And I was like, I literally remember I was like, yeah, I'm actually dumbing it down for you. That's why I'm speaking like this. And I'm not gonna say this is right. I'm not saying it's right. I also don't give y'all advice. I know I be saying, you should try this, but like dead ass, you don't have to do shit that I tell you because again, at the end of the day, this is your life, not mine. So anyway, that like little argument, bruh, that shit just had me thinking that it made me realize, yeah, I need to get back on my bullshit. I need to get back at expanding my vocabulary, reading the dictionary, going on dictionary.com, thesaurus.com, and reading this shit and expanding the crap out of my vocabulary because I'm actually a very educated, very intellectual woman. I the concepts that I can understand is beyond average. And that's not no cocky, like that's not even being cocky, that's being very honest. And I recognize that because a lot of people can't do certain things that I do. And that's not even me putting myself on a pedestal. I think people can, eventually get to certain levels of intellect, get to the level of intellect that I'm on, but you have to actually want to be an intellectual person. If you don't naturally have those capabilities. And if you don't actually have those capabilities, you do gotta try harder. Anyway, anyway. Um that argument made me just think about how important it really is to expand your vocabulary, because you never know when you're gonna need it. You never know when you're gonna need it. And that's not even just for, like, argument's sake, but for me, I was talking to my dad the other day, or yeah, I was talking to my dad the other day, and he was like, the reason why I didn't want you to have so many I didn't want you to have tattoos in the way that I feel. The reason I feel how I feel about your tattoos, excuse me. He was like, the reason he feels how he feels about my tattoos is because I made myself blacker. He's like, he didn't mean that in, like, no crazy way. And I know what he meant. What he meant was, I I made it easier for people to stereotype me and group me with the just certain traditional stereotypes, which is why I choose to carry myself in a certain way. I'm aware that I have 30 something tattoos. Most times you can't tell that I have 30 something tattoos. But I'm aware of the negative connotations that come with it, and then I recently started my lock journey this past January, so there's even more negative, connotations that come with the way that I choose to present myself, and then on top of that, I'm a masculine presenting lesbian. Off rip, I'm a lesbian because I wear boy clothes. So, I definitely put myself at, I guess, a disadvantage, but that's why expanding your vocabulary and being able to articulate yourself and carry yourself in a manner that people wouldn't expect, or in a maybe more traditionally accepted way, or choosing to be more intellectual, I guess, is important. Being able to, in a calm way, articulate your ideas and articulate what yeah, just articulate your ideas. We'll just go on the surface level. It's important. Um, and I started out, like, expanding my vocabulary out of spite. And you shouldn't really do anything out of spite. I mean, spite is a really good motivator, but it's not as fulfilling in the long run. I've done things out of spite. Like I said, the vocabulary expansion, it's not fulfilling. Like, if I'm not beefing with nobody, or I don't foresee me beefing with somebody, I don't naturally have that motivation to keep expanding my vocabulary, except for, yeah. And that is bad. But a new motivator that I just discovered for myself was, this is a lot of damn ums. But a new motivator that I discovered was just surprising people. A lot of people think, just from, I guess, things that others have said, maybe the way that I portray myself, a lot of people think I'm a dumbass. And then they have a conversation with me, or they hear me speak. They're like, oh, this little bitch is not dumb. This little bitch be knowing what the fuck is going on. And I'd be like, yeah, I thought that was known. And this is why people fuck with me, and this is why I really, really get along with all levels of people. I ain't even gonna lie. I really am somebody that can blend with everybody. That don't mean I fuck with everybody. There's a big fucking difference. But that's why I'm able to adapt to different shit. That's why I'm so understanding too, because I just recognize everybody has their own experiences. Everybody is just everybody. You know what I'm saying? We're all really one. You really want to look at the world from that angle. And yeah. You can tell I haven't been practicing expanding my vocabulary because of the word choice, like the way I'm struggling to, I think, explain my point. But then again, it's like I could explain this in, like, very big words, but sometimes it's not necessary. And that's another thing. Sometimes using big words is not necessary. Like, I feel like the English language and a lot of people might not think like this, but we have an advantage because we can, as a black person, I don't know about other people, other cultures of English speakers, but I think as a black woman, I have an advantage of being able to articulate myself in the different versions of English. I can articulate myself in a professional manner and use, you know, ginormous words and say the same thing. I can also articulate myself like a 3-year old. I won't say a 3-year old, maybe like a 10-year old, like a 10-year old. Um, I can articulate myself to where, yeah, I can adapt to whatever situation that I'm in, and that I think that is something people when people are like, "Oh, I want to expand my vocabulary." I think that's more of an angle that people should go based off of, not necessarily not necessarily this person is beneath me. Let me make them realize I'm smart. Like, don't do it from spite, but I think be open to learning different vocabulary so that you can connect with different people. But that's always my mission. Everybody's mission isn't like mine. My mission is always to just connect because I've gone so long in my life not being connected to people that are feeling just so disconnected from people that, like, I want to I want to be lavender, like this poem that I wrote. I'll share it with y'all at the end of me discussing this portion, but um I just seek to understand. I want to understand. I want to know your why so that I stop judging you. And that's why I want to speak different languages. Also, also, expanding your vocabulary challenges your brain. And challenging your brain creates new grooves. And whether or not I have autism, whether or not my brain has Alzheimer's, I'm less likely to display um the trait. So that's why it's amazing to exercise your brain. Um, all right, really quick, not that quick, but quick enough. I am going to share a poem with you because this also just lets you get to know me more as your host of I got my heart broke. Decided to make a podcast. And this is important because this will really just show you the angle that I'm always going with when it comes to the content that I create, and I seek the art that I seek to put out in the world. Okay, the poem is called Lavender. I want to be lavender. I want to be the peace within the storm. I want to be the light at the end of the tunnel. I want to be your reminder that when you feel like everything is falling apart, it isn't. And everything is happening just when it is. I want to be lavender. I want my energy to feel like a hug. I want people to leave my presence feeling love and hope. I want to be the calm within the storm, or whatever the saying says. I want to be peace. I want your soul to recognize mine as a safe place. I want to be a safe place. And I just want to be lavender. And I think that's such a beautiful. I wrote this like 3 years ago. And I think it's just so beautifully put. I didn't even realize in that moment that I was really speaking from my soul. Like, this is the angle that I operate from. And this is why when I be trying to get my lick back, or I be trying to, like, I guess, be evil, it doesn't work for me because at my core, in my soul, I am lavender. I'm that scent that just relaxes your body. Like, there's science behind that shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's me. And that's always my goal. And it's not even my goal for everyone else. It's also my goal for myself, for my inner child. I'm that breath of fresh air for my inner child. Well, it's time to transition to a different topic. And this, we're gonna go to see, and I'm not gonna lie, it really does go hand in hand. The wanting to be lavender goes, and the vocabulary expansion, it really does go into seeking advice in the wrong places. Um, I'm 21, so of course, I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna get dumbass advice from the dumbest people in the world because people that don't know shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's inevitable. That's kind of like the journey I'm on. Um, so I will tell y'all a story because I feel like that's something that just I'm always doing to, I guess, make it real to you and what inspired this shit. But um I found myself often seeking advice outside of myself. And I think that's wrong. I think you have all of the answers. Whenever you're seeking advice, you're really seeking validation. Okay. Not in every single instance, but in most instances your gut is going to tell you what it is that you need to do. And when you go outside of yourself, and I'm not saying praying is going outside of yourself, no, because I think in a way it's seeking it. I think you are one with God. So if you feel like God is calling you towards a certain decision, it's something that you want to do. This is not, and if you in spiritual psychosis, baby, that message is not for you, okay? But I I have found that whenever, like, I have all the answers with me. It just goes back to the, trusting your gut. When I was dealing with the girl that inspired this motherfucking podcast. I don't got the update for y'all yet, okay? I don't got the update for y'all yet. Stay tuned though. Stay tuned. I will give you an update. But when I was dealing with her, I was seeking advice from my therapist. I was seeking advice from my godmom. I was seeking advice from my friends. I'm like, bro, I'm tripping, I'm tripping, I'm tripping. Nigga, you know what the fuck is up. When you start seeking advice from other people, I think you allow other people's projections and how other people would react to impact you. At least let me speak for me. Um, I am aware that sometimes you can be naive. But because my intention in this life is to always move with love, to always move with understanding, and I'm not saying that I excuse people doing weird ass shit, but if you are somebody, and this is me talking about the love of my life, I will never, maybe I'll send this episode to her. I don't know if she'll listen to it because she complains when niggas send fucking over a minute and 30 seconds voice note, but I just think it's because she'd be busy. Anyway, when it comes to like people, damn, when it comes to people giving you their opinion on a situation that you're in, you're getting all of their life experiences, all the people that they experience. I think a lot of shit is just like trial and error. I listen to people's like negative perspectives on certain shit, and they were right, but like I didn't react in the manner that I would. Like when I was dealing with the biggest liar I ever fucking met in my life, one time against something that I would naturally do myself, this girl, this girl, a friend, she told me to put like, she was like, I was like, yo, my shorty, she disappeared in the middle of the night. Like, yo, this is to be admitting this on a fucking podcast is crazy. But I was like, yo, my shorty disappeared in the middle of the night. And my friend was like, sounds like she wants you to pop up. And I popped up. Mind you, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, I think, when I popped up. And I popped up and I didn't get an answer. And I'm like, I live in Florida. I'm not from Florida. I'm not from the South. I'm knocking on people's doors at 2 o'clock in the morning. I only knocked on one door because one, like, I don't be feeling like doing shit like that. Like, that's not my version of a crash out. When I crash out, I can't even tell y'all the crazy shit that crosses my mind is that crazy, but like I really be chilling. So I was like, yeah, this is doing too much. This is not me. So I knocked on one door and then I left. And that's what I mean by like getting advice in the wrong areas. Like you can ask people their opinion on shit, and I'm not saying don't seek other opinions. I'm not saying don't seek advice. I ain't telling you like what the fuck to do with your life. This is your life. Do what the fuck you want to do. Do what feels right for you. But I am saying like trust your gut. When you feel like you need to go to an outside source, I think it's the your gut is telling you trust me. Like, that's really just what you should do. You should just always trust your gut because you can end up in the wrong situations. Um, okay. So I'm gonna tell y'all a story on and it's not even a story. I'm just gonna tell y'all a situation that I've been in so many times. And I think this is what really hindered me when it comes to my creativity. I will ask the wrong people for their fucking opinion. And I think that fucks me every single goddamn on time. I'll ask the wrong people for their opinion. So the first episode of the podcast, I'm sure you know, the audio is terrible. But I wasn't refilming the episode. The episode was raw. The episode was the inspiration. The episode was the fucking gas that got me here. And I asked people their perspective, and I got people who work in the industry's perspective, but I also got someone who doesn't work in the industry's perspective. And I didn't like their opinion. It wasn't much of an opinion at all. They were giving me, and also like, if this person does listen to this episode, I I didn't like your opinion, but like I don't obviously like we're grown. I don't have any ill feelings towards you or nothing. I'm really over it. But I'm discussing you were the inspiration for this portion of the episode. But they gave me their opinion. I didn't like it. And I didn't like it not because not because I can't take constructive criticism or not because just because it wasn't what I asked. And maybe I wasn't clear with like my ask, you know what I'm saying? But I learned the hard way. I no longer, and when it comes to this podcast, if you are not somebody that one works with audio, I don't want your opinion. If you are not somebody that works in the creative industry or you are not an artist overall, I don't want your motherfucking opinion. And then if you are not my audience, I don't want your opinion. Because my audience, obviously, they have to consume the content. But if you aren't one of those three, keep your opinion to yourself. And I'm back on my asshole shit. I'm quick to tell people I just set that boundary. Actually, I don't want your opinion. Actually, I think you should keep that statement to yourself. Actually, I don't think that's serving our relationship right now. Like, telling you, I'm getting firm on my boundaries, baby. I'm changing. Let me tell you, I am in my, I want to say, most elevated era. You just keep going. You know what I'm saying? This is the most I've ever been elevated in this, like, currently. You know what I'm saying? Like, in my lifetime. But this ain't the end. You feel me? This is just, I guess, the beginning. If you're gonna be for real. Um, but okay. So I don't know, man. I just don't seek advice like in the wrong places. If you know somebody got like fucked up relationship history, don't seek them. Don't go to them for no damn relationship advice. I think the best people to possibly go to for relationship advice are people who are in relationships that are very similar to yours. Or like have the and I'm gonna explain what I mean by like very similar to yours. They have the same basic morals as you. Um And that's important when it comes to your advice. Because when it comes to anybody, like when it comes to getting advice from anyone, you need to make sure their morals are aligned with yours or their intentions are similar to yours. Some people just be talking out their ass. Some people just be telling you what they wish that they would do or what they would do. And I don't always agree with what other people do. Also, all advice ain't good advice. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. So, you know, recognize that. Use discernment in that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is really just a lot of shit that I've been learning all over the course of goddamn 2025. I can only imagine, like, and I think that's the beauty of life. All the lessons that I'm going to learn along the way, I'm excited. I'm excited to continue to learn. I'm excited to keep living. I used to hate living, and I think I'm coming out of that. I'm coming out of hating to be a human, hating to exist, having all this knowledge, but not really having all the puzzle pieces to put it together and use it. I think that's why, like, I keep ending up in these experiences, because, I mean, you gotta live, you know? Yeah, I do believe that you are a soul having a human experience, but that's the purpose. You're having a human experience. You have to be human in order to have the fucking human experience. You can't just operate from knowing everything. Um, I think just operating from a place of just all knowing, it just limits you. It doesn't let you grow. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I am a know-it-all. And that's something I'm working on actively. Like, I am changing that. Just, oh, I know everything. But I do have a lot of knowledge about a lot of different things. And like, it's not intentional that I have, that I know certain things, I guess, that other people don't. And I don't try to come off as a know-it-all. But I do need to work on, like, wanting to listen to people's more simple conversations about concepts that I already know, or like topics that, like, I just deem boring. And it's the ADHD in me, but yeah. Well, I have ADHD if you didn't know. It's really interesting seeing how it impacts my life, in every single area that it impacts my life. This, I don't know. This was the episode. Me discussing, your vocabulary expansion. I shared a poem with y'all, and I told y'all about, the consequences, the mental consequences of, kinda told y'all the mental consequences of, like, seeking advice in the wrong area. Um, if you enjoyed this episode, feel free to like it and, comment any feedback that you might have, or don't comment any feedback. Do whatever you feel like doing. I'm not really telling you how to live your life. Live your life how you feel. Even if you don't gotta listen to it, but live your life how you feel fit, as long as it's not harming someone else. It doesn't really matter what you do. People really don't People look at themselves on a microscope, but they don't look at other people in a microscope. And even when it seems like they're looking at someone under a microscope, it's really just a projection of their experience in life. So keep that in the back of your head. I've been I've been talking a lot. I ain't gonna lie. This is talking a lot. Something I don't normally do. Read the description. Check it out. Get to know me a little bit more. Follow me on my different social media platforms. I'm a different person, I guess, everywhere. On TikTok, I do be yapping, but I don't know. Since I started the podcast, probably won't be yapping there as much. It might just be go back to being something that I randomly upload on. I think I might like that a lot better. But who knows? There's so many topics that I can discuss because I am a yapper. through and through. And I need to just be talking. So, yeah. But all right, y'all. Be blessed.